Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
So I think we can start. Others will find us on the way.
Okay.
So yesterday we were looking at buttons, and we had created only one button. So that is the button we had created. And inside this button, this is an elevated button. Inside this button, I had created the only pressed method, which says you have clicked me. I think you are seeing that.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
So when I come and click on this, I get a notification. I think you are seeing that I've got another notification. If I click on it again, I'll get another notification that you have clicked me, meaning that our button is working. So we can also change and we give to another type of button, because we have other types. We have a raised button, we have a flat button. Maybe I can just change it to a flat button.
How many do you have?
So the one which we use mostly are flat button and the raised button. But some names changed for in the newer version of Flutter. Like we have a raised button, and the raised button was changed to an elevated button. Also, when you look at this one, they underline it, meaning that in the new version of Flutter, they changed the name. So I can click here and I see the name. Flat button is duplicated and shouldn't be used. Use text button instead. So now a flat button is called a text button, according to the notification I'm getting. So I can change it to a text button. So this is the text button. Let me just save. And I see the change. So then after buttons, we are going to look at icons. And we see how we can use different icons. For example, if you are designing a text box for the email, most people always want to include that email symbol. If it is a phone number, most people always want to include that icon for phone number. So we're going to see how we can apply that icon. I think you are seeing the text button.
Yeah.
So if I click on it, still I see in the notification that you have clicked me. So that's how a text button looks like. The other one, which has edges outside, that is called an elevated button. So now I want to remove the button, and then I replace it with a symbol. So meaning that in my body, after the child, I'm going to remove this text button. Starts from here up to here. So I'm going to remove it. And then I want to replace it with an icon, meaning that I'm going to use the icon widget. Icon. Then inside the icon widget, I can have a child, and then this child will be, no, I don't have a child. I'll just get the icon. So I write icons. When I type icons, I write a dot there, and they will bring for me the different icons which are supported in Flutter. I think you're now seeing the different icons that are being displayed.
Samakula,
Please.
I've got some issue with my PC. Let me first restart it. Just a moment. 2 minutes or 1 minute.
Okay.
Let me just restart. You can stop there first now. Just 1 minute or two. I restart.
Okay. So inside the child, after the child property, I created an icon.
Yeah, we can continue.
An icon widget.
Okay.
And then inside this icon widget, I want to get the icons from the icons library. So when I type icons dot, and I wait for some seconds, I'll get all the icons which are supported by Flutter. I think you are seeing the icons. And there are many icons that are even still loading. So if I'm looking for any icon, I just go down.
Yeah.
Because you may not know the name of the icon. So you can just go down and you look for the icon you want. For example, if you are creating a contact, you can use that icon. Account circle outlined. You can use that icon. And then when I save, so I'm waiting for this one to load. I think you are seeing the icon now.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So that's how we create an icon. You just use the icon widget, and inside the icon widget, we can access the icon from the icon library. Even if you want an icon for the email, you can look for it there. It's called the mail. So you have to write icons.mail. But even if you don't know the name, you just go through, just go through all the icons, and then you can see one you want to use. All the icons are there in that library.
How many are there? How many icons do you have?
There are more than 200 icons.
200?
There are more than 200. There are very many. You can just, that's why it's always better you type icons dot, then they display all the icons. You just go through and you look for the icon you want. Because you can't cram all the names of those icons. So that's how we create an icon. So sometimes you may want to create an icon, and then you write a label on that icon. For example, after this, because I want this icon to be having a label. So how do you create a label? So after the icon widget, I'm going to create a label. And this label will get text widget. And then I'll right click me. So I can right click me as the label for that icon. So if I also want, I can decide to give it a color. Maybe I can say color from the color property. Then I can say colors dot, and I give it any color I want, maybe colors dot amber. Let me see. Okay, let me just create I'm going to create a button. Then I want that button to be having an icon. So I want to combine the two together. So I can remove this. And there I create an elevated button. Elevated button. Then that button, I want it to have an icon. Are you following? Alex, are you there?
Yeah.
So if you want to create a button, and then you want that button to be
Yeah, I'm there.
If you want to create a button and you want that button to be having an icon, then after the name of the button, for example, I'm going to use an elevated button. Then you write a dot, and then you write icon. Because I want to combine a button and an icon. So after writing the name of the type of the icon, which is an elevated button, then I write a dot, and I write the name of the icon. And I write the icon name, which then inside you can define the properties which you want. First of all, I have to be having the onPressed method.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
I'm really not getting anything.
You are not getting anything.
Yeah.
Okay, but did you follow
I
the?
was telling you my what?
Yes.
My Android refused to work.
Okay, you are going to share your screen. Okay, you first.
But I'm not with my laptop right now.
You're not with your laptop. So what was the problem?
Yeah. You told me to install Git. I installed it, but I didn't know what to do with it.
So you installed Git. So what was the comment after after running Flutter Doctor? What was the comment?
It brought the same thing, but it can't something like it can't find a Flutter, something like that.
Hey, it can't find a Flutter SDK. Was it like that?
I don't know, it was something like that. Yeah, something like that.
So let me check your screenshot. And when you are creating a project, like when you are creating a project where you see Flutter SDK path. So you have to click there, and then you go to the folder where your Flutter is. Like when we are installing Flutter, there is that folder which contains Flutter. For example, let me show you on my laptop when I'm creating a project. Let me go to File, New. Okay, let me just open. I want to open Android Studio in a new window such that I don't interrupt this one. So my Android Studio. I'm going to create a new project here. I'm going to File, okay. Then I create a new project. I create a new Flutter project. Then are you seeing the Flutter SDK path?
Okay.
Like mine is located in the C, then users, then Flutter. So if I'm looking for it, assuming I didn't know where it is, so I go to C. When I open C, I go to users, which is here. Then I see that word. Are you seeing that Flutter there?
Okay.
Then I just press OK. And then my Flutter SDK path is there. So that's how you get the Flutter SDK path when you're creating a project. Then after, you just click on the next, and then you give it a name and you continue.
No, but still,
Mm.
I did all that.
So what was
But
another?
when I use the command thing, like the command prompt, when I type flutter doctor, whatever, it brings something. I don't know, something. I can't explain it. But is it fine when how long is this taking? Is this lesson taking?
I think we shall end at around the 8:30 or 9.
Okay. I'm going to be home by like in 20 minutes. Is it fine if I share my screen and this is what I'm saying?
Yeah, no problem. You share when you get your laptop.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So I think we can continue. Where on the button, you want to add a button and then an icon to that button. And the type of that button is an elevated button. Then we want that elevated button to be having an icon. That's why I've written elevated button.icon. Then after that, whenever we have a button, we have to be with the onPressed method because that button has to be pressed. So in the onPressed, I will just define still I will write print. Then I can say you have clicked me. This is a statement, that statement, so I have to put there a semicolon. And then after that, since it is an icon, the icon must be having a label, and also I have to define the icon I want to use. So after that, I'm going to include an icon. I'm going to use the icon property, and then I use the icon widget. So inside this icon, then I'm going to write the name of the icon, like we have been doing. Icons dot. So I wait for the options. If you know the name of the icon you want to use, then you can just write the name. Like I want to use email. I have alternate mail, I have attached mail, I have email. So I can just select one. You can say, let me retype and get the icon to use. Are you following? Hello?
Network, it's not stable.
Okay. So we are creating a button, and we are creating an icon button, a button which is having an icon. So, and we say that you write the type of the button which is elevated, then you write dot icon. Then inside you have to define the onPressed method of that button, because every button must be having that onPressed method. Then after that onPressed, Then from the icon property, I want to use the icon widget. So that's because we say that whenever you are putting a widget inside the widget, then you have to use a property. You can't just use a widget directly inside another widget. So that's why instead of just writing the icon like we did the other time, I had to get that icon from the icon property. Then I write icons dot, I look for the name I want. Maybe icons dot mail. I can see the suggestions they give me, and I choose one. Hope you are following. Are you following? Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I have poor network today.
Okay. So we are looking at a button which has an icon.
We ended on print. That's where I ended on.
On print. So on the on pressed, we can type the print message. Then after, we want to use an icon, meaning that we are going to get that icon widget from the icon property. Remember we are putting the icon widget inside another widget, which is the elevated widget, the elevated button widget. Meaning that we can't just type the icon widget inside that widget. We have to first get the property, which is the icon property, and then after the icon property, we can get the icon widget from the icon property. Because we say that whenever you want to use a widget within another widget, you have to first identify the property for that widget. Then after, this is the name of the icon. I've used the icons.mail because I want to use the mail icon. Then I close the icon widget. Then after the icon widget, because this is a button, I have to give the button a label, which is like the name of that button, the word which is going to be on that button. So which is a label, and that label will be a text widget, which is text me. So I can decide not to give it a color, and I just leave it like that. It must be having the icon widget because I'm using an icon button, then plus the label. Then I can just save. you see the change. I'm waiting for the button to load. Now loading. So I think you are seeing the button. Are you seeing it? So now our button is having an icon, which is an email icon. So, and when someone sees this button, automatically someone will know that this button is for maybe submitting an email, maybe for sending an email. Are you seeing it on your screen? Hello? So I'm going to remove everything which is at the child from here up to here. And then instead, after my child, I want to add a container there, which is the container widget. So that is the container widget. You can put a comma there. So let me first remove the center. Let me remove the center widget also. And then I want my body to be a container. So I'm going to use the container widget. So I remove the child. So now my body is the container widget. And then this container widget, I want to give it a color. And I can say colors dot. I can give it a color which is green. Okay. Then let me save and we see how a container looks like.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I've got my laptop. So should I share?
No, first wait in the next session because this session is about to end in 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
So we are going to use the same link for the next session.
All right.
So this is how our container looks like. This is
I've seen it. It's also working on my side.
This is a container widget, but it looks like that because I haven't put anything inside the container. So if you want to see how the actual container looks like, you have to define something inside that container. So inside that container, I'm going to put a child, and because I want to put a text widget inside. So that is a text widget. I can say my container, and then now I can save. And we see how the actual container looks like. Now you see the container, it has become small.
I've seen.
Yeah, the container always takes the side of what is inside. When you don't put anything inside, then the whole body will become a container. But when you define something inside, then it will take the size of that, of what you have put inside. So in the next session, we are going to look at how we can modify that container to make it bigger, to make it center. So now we can close this session and wait. This session is almost ending.
Wait, but the color has disappeared.
You are seeing the color.
Because with the
yeah, it takes
with the container.
Yes, it takes the color of the size of what is inside.